Have you been thinking about making a move to the Hillsboro area, specifically Reed's Crossing? Well, in today's video, we're going to show you a video neighborhood tour of Reed's Crossing and share with you all about it, so stay tuned.
First time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in the greater Portland metro area and Reed's Crossing specifically, make sure you tap that notification bell, click the subscribe button so that you can be the first to know about everything happening in the area.
I'm Ann Stewart. This is Erica Hagfirst. We are your go-to gals. If you have more questions or want to make that move to Portland and talk to some great agents who know all about how to do it, reach out to us. All of our contact information is in the description below. We'd love to connect. All right, so we are just walking around Reed's Crossing right now. As you can tell, there is a park right there. There's many parks, but let's talk about first, Erica, where is Reed's Crossing exactly?
Yeah, so Reed's Crossing is out in what they call South Hillsboro. And so Hillsboro is west of Beaverton. It's going to be kind of your last big stop before you start heading out towards the coast. And then we're gonna be just east of Tigard area. I would say if you go north, you're really hitting kind of the outlying areas, unincorporated Washington County, technically a Portland area, but we're kind of just situated out in Hillsboro, which is a big metropolitan area. I believe it's the second biggest city in,
Portland metro area.
Yep, exactly. And so it's really kind of a nice option for those people, who are working out in this area. There's a lot of tech out in this area.
Lots of tech. And
definitely there's demand for this. This thing, I used to live just a few minutes away from here, and the area has been growing and
booming.
These homes are all getting filled up.
Yep.
This all used to be farmland, 464 acres.
Wow.
I mean, this was like 20 years in the making. They had to do some major moving of certain things, like they had to close the street because you can only have so many roads crossing the railroad tracks. And we do have some railroad tracks out here that are active. They go through a couple times a day. And, then obviously getting all the farmers and the landowners to sign off and get all the community planning on it. But, this is really the largest master planned community in Oregon, all of Oregon. Now, we are not necessarily known for master planned communities. That's not our deal out here. We're a little bit more wild, wild west. But that being said, this is the largest one. And it is, it's got some really great aspects to it if this is the type of living that you're comfortable with or that you're looking for, or a lifestyle that's gonna work for you. Yep. So we're gonna dive into that right now.
All right, so we have a variety of homes in the Reed's Crossing area. You can almost find every possible type. You've got apartments, you've got condos, you've got townhomes, you've got single family dwellings. You even have some assisted living around here. The whole goal of Reed's Crossing is designed around being able to, live and get most of your amenities within probably about 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, I think ideally you're getting to everything within a mile or two by either walking or biking. And there are a lot of biking pathways. Yep. I actually used to come into this neighborhood and go running with my dogs because I was a country girl. So, the idea is that they want sustainability in the building of the homes. They want, amenities close by. They want to encourage people to get out and enjoy, nature. They've built in 83 acres of parks and green spaces and walking pathways and parks so that, there's a dog park here as well. They've also got a town center that's going to have, things like a hospital, like a small, hospital office, dental practice, restaurants and dining and shopping. There'll be a good local supermarket in the area. So the idea is ease of life and quality of life in a sustainable way. Is really what they've aimed
and they're
for.
working with around 6 home builders that have to kind of meet certain criteria to be in this neighborhood, because they are looking for sustainability and environmental aspects, so that they're building a community that will last and that really takes into consideration the environment around it. And you're going to see tons of parks and natural spaces, which really is great in a master plan community where you just see a lot of density typically. Whereas here, I don't even know how many parks there are. I think
there's about 23 different parks. There's another green space that's, very long. If you go through kind of the middle of this community, There's a really big walking and riding, bike riding pathway along a ravine that will collect water in the winter months. And what it's kind of an interesting because the lots are not big.
Yeah.
A lot of these are what we call cottage style or alley interest homes. So you're getting a side yard, maybe some green space in the front, but really not a lot of actual ownership to land. However, you have a very beautiful area that's maintained as part of your HOA.
I've got a fun fact. Did you know that they're going to be planting 250 plant trees per year in this community? Per year. That's what it said on the website. I was like, wow, that's a huge commitment to
that's a big
natural
commitment.
spaces,
Yes, it is. And they put in some lovely bridges over these areas that are covering, and they've connected a lot of communities. So there is Reed's Crossing proper, which is going to be about, I think, 2,400 plus single-family detached homes, and then you're going to have 1,400 plus duplex, triplex, attached style properties. And then you have some of these other communities which aren't necessarily Reed's Crossing proper, but they're in the surrounding areas. They're just outside of it. And in those communities, they're still connecting them.
Yeah.
You still have, pathways and walkability to those. So you could really have a good network. If you're worried about safety or any of those other things. You've also got mass transit very close by in terms of the bus. And so just really a nice option when it comes to, if you don't necessarily want a lot of maintenance to your property, your busy life.
Yeah. And they're even putting in a big market of choice, which if you're not familiar with that, that's a really high desired grocery store that you can pretty much walk to from a lot of areas of Reed's Crossing. I mean, the nice thing about Reed's Crossing is it's totally flat. There's not a lot of, hills or anything like that. In fact, a lot of people like to get out and walk their dogs. There's tons of dog parks. Like you're going to see people out walking and just really enjoying the fact that there's so many trails and watershed areas like the one we're on right now. We're on a little bit of a bridge that goes over a watershed, and there's just tons of natural spaces. So, sometimes the bugaboo about new construction is it just feels so dense. There's just construction everywhere, houses everywhere, but they've really made a point to make this community feel like you're, in the naturescape along with a community.
So some of you might ask, how long does a project like this take? I mean, we're talking close to 4,000 units, building out roads, infrastructure, the whole 9 yards. They started with bare ground. This was all just farmland before. And so the estimated completion, because there are several phases to this, and yes, the builders are the ones who are actually doing the building, but it's such a large project. It's estimated that this will probably take about 12 years in total to complete.
Yep.
I think they're easily into this probably 4 to 5 years already.
Yep.
And it's definitely got areas that feel fully finished. And the kind of the crazy thing is, having been in this area, you could kind of see that, they'll have roads, and when they get to a certain point, they'll rework all the roads. Roundabouts are a big deal in these type of communities because they want to minimize, traffic congestion on the main thoroughfares. And so more main roads, they started to see changes as well. But there's a lot of aspects that have to go into this. So as Ann mentioned, there were about 6 builders in here, but this whole community was planned by a separate organization, a separate company that basically laid out everything, the lots and where the roads were going to be and how everything was going to look in the town center area. And there's so many components. And now these individual builders are going in. They've, bought lots from this larger, Newland was the company that basically planned this community. And now the builders are going in and building on their lots, the different styles of homes.
And they're even doing some like multi-generational. So you won't find one level properties in the Reed's Crossing. We get that question all the time. We have another video on one levels and the demand. But what they are doing is in some cases they're designing like a mother-in-law suite on the main.
Primaries on the main.
Yeah, primaries on the main, so that you can have a family member who may need to be on main level living in the property with you, which is great. We sold one actually that her mother moved in with them and they really needed a primary suite on the main, and it had its own little area. So that's great that they're thinking of those things, because multi-generational living is huge, especially in these kind of communities where families come together and, depending on different setups, you need that. Here's an example of probably acres and acres of land being cleared as we speak. They're out there bulldozing, and they're going to be putting in more of these houses, and it's just going to be many phases of Reed's Crossing that's going in. So you'll continue to see updates on our channel of improvements and changes at Reed's Crossing. And this is the brand new elementary school, Tamarack Elementary, that just went in the last year. It's a beautifully designed elementary school right here in Reed's Crossing. Literally, you can walk your kids to school, which is pretty great. Again, this community wants a walkability and a community feel where most of your amenities and most of what you do is centered around the Reed's Crossing area. Right across from this elementary school, they are bulldozing more land to build more houses. So the goal here is they're building a community that's going to be years in the making. And so if you're looking for Reed's Crossing and you want to have your kids be within walking distance or even just a quick drive or bike ride from the new schools, they're right here. There really is a wide variety of builders in this community. As I mentioned, 6 builders have made their way through the Reed's Crossing area. One in particular named Ichijo, which is a Japanese builder. You really got to check out their inventory. They build in a manner that is very different than a lot of the American builders. They put special touches in that are, well, best way to say it is they're from Japan, and they're really efficient. Home inspectors love their construction. Just recently watched a home inspector on TikTok go over all the little nuances that they do in their communities for building, and it really was cool. Another really great thing about living in Reed's Crossing is they have their own farmers market, and I'm a big farmers market buff, so if you're wanting to live in a community and walk to a farmers market, how cool is that, right? I mean, who doesn't love a good farmers market, especially out here? And they're putting in a market of choice, so we're going to drive you guys by it. It's in construction, so it's not built yet. It's due to be done this fall, which is in a few months, and there's a big shopping plaza that you can virtually just walk to. It's going to have restaurants, it's going to have just all kinds of amenities. And here we have a bunch of construction happening. All of this is supposed to be done at the end of 2024. So if you're watching this in the fall and winter of 2024 going into 2025, this should all be ready to go. This is the walkable area that you can get to from Reed's Crossing. It's going to have a big market of choice. They're going to have a Shake Shack, a sushi and steak. Jamba Juice.
I mean, all sorts of restaurants.
All sorts of restaurants and shops, which is great. That's what you want when you're in a living community like this, right, Erica?
Yeah, definitely. Pop out the front door and hit the grocery store and not have to like worry about hopping in your car or what that's going to look like.
Yep, and there's a Providence Instant Care just across the way. And right here they're building in apartments, and those are going up for lease here pretty soon. Those should also be done in the next 5 months. Thanks for joining us on today's video as we talked all about Reed's Crossing. If you have more questions or maybe comments, drop them below. And of course, if you're thinking about making the move to this particular area, get on a phone call with us. All of our contact information is in that description below. We would love to hear from you, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.